السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله تبارك وتعالى نحمده ونستعين به ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. وبعد, inshallah, tonight we have 9 bad habits that we are trying to avoid that are mentioned in Surah Al-Qalam. Allah actually is describing somebody whose name is Al-Walid ibn Mughira, and he mentioned 9 bad attributes that we're trying to know tonight just to avoid. عرفت الشر لا للشر ولكن لتوقيه ومن لا يعرف الشر من الخير يقع فيه. We're supposed to talk sometimes about bad habits just to avoid them, not to do them. And before I start, inshallah, with the 9 habits or the 9 attributes, I'm just asking you, don't forget, inshallah, to donate. You have the box over here, or you can donate outside. You have, I think, some brothers outside, downstairs. They are collecting donations for our Muslims in Burma. And also, after this halaqah, inshallah, we have our youth halaqah. I'll be sitting down with them. And inshallah, if you have some of your children here, don't let them play downstairs. Please go downstairs now and call them, because I can hear them now playing. You can just call them just to attend this halaqah. And then, inshallah, we will continue with our meeting after. My meeting with them, inshallah ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to Muhammad, alayhi salatu wassalam, do not obey, ya Muhammad, some person who has these 9 bad attributes. وَلَا تُطِعْ, do not obey. كُلَّ حَلَّافٍ مَهِينٍ. So the first attribute he has mentioned, subhanahu wa ta'ala, is halaf. And the word halaf is different from the word halif. Halif means a swearer. Somebody who always takes an oath. He always says, Wallahi, Wallahi, Wallahi. You know, when you sit down with some people, when you discuss with him anything, whether it is political issue or religious issue, he always says, Wallahi, this happens, Wallahi, that happens. Those kind of people are not very beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or we can say those kind of people. This attribute is not actually beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe those people are very good people, but this attribute is not beloved to Rabbil Alameen. Wallahi, Wallahi. And Allah didn't say halif. He didn't say swearer. He said halaf. And the word halaf means habitual swearer. Like frequently swears, frequently takes an oath all the time. When he sells something, when he purchases something, he always swears by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال الإمام السعدي رحمه الله ولا يكون كثير الحلف إلا وهو كذاب. If somebody always tries to prove himself, always tries to prove what he's saying, it's an evidence actually that most likely is lying. Most likely is lying, because he thinks people are not trusting what he's saying now. So he's trying to always swear just to make people believe in what he's saying. So most likely he might be lying. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He encouraged us to maintain our iman, our oaths, and not to frequently swear by Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال Allah Jal, وَاحْفَظُوا أَيْمَانَكُمْ, and keep and maintain your iman. وَاحْفَظُوا أَيْمَانَكُمْ. And Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also told us that some people in the day of Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala لا ينظر إليهم. Allah will not look at them with the eyes of His mercy subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا يُزَكِّيهِمْ, and will not purify them. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ, and they will receive severe punishment by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of them, he said, as-salam, وَرَجُلٌ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ بِضَاعَةً لَا يَشْتَرِي إِلَّا بِيَمِينِهِ وَلَا يَبِيعُ إِلَّا بِيَمِينِهِ. And some person who never sells or buys something except with a yameen. Wallahi, I have bought this with this much of money, and I am selling it to you with this amount. So he always swears. Those kind of people, or this kind of action is not beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 2, mahin. He's subhanahu wa ta'ala mahin, which means worthless. Worthless. He's da'iful qalb. As the scholars of tafsir say, somebody whose iman is weak. It's also another attribute that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like. وَقِيلَ الْحَقِيرُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ وَذَاكَ إِذَا تَعَمَّدَ الْحِنْثِ. Why did Allah put these two attributes together? Halaf, mahin. Because some people, when they swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they intentionally break their iman, intentionally break their promises, intentionally they align, and they know for sure from themselves that they align, and that's why He described them immediately after they are swearer. He said, mahin. He is not beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now we can say this person is not beloved to Allah. He is mahin in the sight of Rabbil Alameen. Allah will dishonor him and will make him disrespected if he swears and he knows from himself that he is lying. Halaf, mahin. So number 1, habitual swearer. Number 2, mahin. He is worthless in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of his lying. And then he said in the next ayah, Hammazin masha'in binamim. What's the meaning of the word humaza? There is a slight difference between al-hams and al-lams. There is a surah in the Quran that almost everybody memorizes. Wailun likulli humazatin lumaza. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, there is a place in the hellfire that is called wail that Allah has prepared for those two kinds of people, humaza and lumaza. And the difference between humaza and lumaza, both of them are some people who say bad stuff about others. Humaza and lumaza, yahmiz or yalmiz, they say bad stuff about others. But al-humaza is to backbite, to speak about somebody in his absence in a bad way. But lumaza is to be very aggressive and talk to him in a bad way in his face, in his presence. It's called lams. So al-hams and al-lams. And so hammazin, backbiter, somebody who backbites others. And number 4, masha'in binamim. Masha'in binamim, somebody is going about with malicious gossip. You know, some brothers actually they don't know the difference between al-ghiba and al-namima, because those two people, these two words always come together. The word ghiba and namima. When you hear an imam speaking about ghiba, most of the time he also says namima with ghiba. So some people don't know the difference between these two words, ghiba and namima. Ghiba is to backbite somebody, but namima is totally different. Namima is to take a word from that person and give it to the other to make some troubles between them, to make some problems between them. نقل الكلام بين الناس, to transfer the messages in a bad way so people will be in a disagreement together. And some people, subhanAllah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us, Allahumma ameen, when they see others on a disagreement, they like this. They like to see others in a disagreement. I don't think it is in one of the Muslimin who are sitting now in front of me, because alhamdulillah, the fact that you're sitting here to hear about Allah and His Messenger, it means your heart, alhamdulillah, is purified. But some people somewhere else, they like to see others in bad relation. They have some conflicts between each other. So those people called nammamin, nammam. And Nabi Sallallahu said, لا يدخل الجنة nammam. This nammam will not enter the Jannah. He will not enter the Jannah. Except, of course, if he repents to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala right away, Allah will forgive him. That's the meaning of the hadith. روى الإمام مسلم في صحيحه through حذيفة بن اليمان رضي الله عنه بلغه أن رجل ينم الحديث وفي رواية يرفع الحديث إلى الأمراء. Sayyidina Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman radiallahu anhu, he has heard that some of the Sahaba or some of the people, it didn't say Sahabi, it said one of the people in the time of Rasulullah, he used to make these troubles between people, to convey the message in a bad way, to make troubles between people. And in some other narrations, people said to him that person, actually he goes to the rulers, to the umara, to the bosses at work, to the people who have authority and have power, and convey the messages to them about people for them to take the revenge or to make some troubles with people. Like somebody, for example, some student, he goes to the teacher and tells him, those two kids actually they are playing all the time when you were outside, they were playing in the class. They were talking. He goes to his boss at work and says, this employee, actually he wasn't working hard when you were outside, he was doing something else. Those kind of people, Sayyidina Hudhayfa bin Yaman has heard of some person who does this. Then he said, سَمِعْتُ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ, I have heard the Nabi ﷺ saying, لَا يَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةَ نَمَّامٌ. This kind of people will not enter the Jannah, except if they repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala between two brackets. وفي الصحيحين, in this beautiful famous hadith in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, look at this hadith. The Nabi ﷺ, he marra biqabrayn. He was walking with his Sahaba radwanullahi alayhim, and he passed by two graves. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told him something from the unseen, that these two people inside the graves are being tortured. Then he said to the Sahaba who were with him, إِنَّهُمَا لَيُعَذَّبَانِ وَمَا يُعَذَّبَانِ فِي كَبِيرٍ. The people who are in these two graves are actually being tortured now. And the thing that they are being tortured for is something little in their eyes. They don't think it's a big deal. When they make this mistake, they don't think it's a big mistake. What are these two mistakes? One of them, أَمَّا أَحَدُهُمَا فَكَانَ لَا يَسْتَبْرِئُ مِنْ بَوْلِهِ. When he goes to the washroom, he doesn't clean himself properly. It's a big mistake in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to be very careful when somebody goes to the washroom. Some people leave the washroom down the stairs, or at home have some kids. They don't clean the washroom after they are done, or they don't clean themselves properly. عَامَّةُ عَذَابِ الْقَبْرِ مِنَ الْبَوْلِ. Nabi ﷺ said, إِسْتَنْزِهُ مِنَ الْبَوْلِ. Clean yourselves very well from the urine. After you do this in the washroom, after you finish your business, clean yourself. And I'm saying this actually specifically to the children now who are sitting here in the audience, and to the parents to take care of this, and to be very careful, and to tell their children to clean themselves very well. Because the Prophet said, عَامَّةُ عَذَابِ الْقَبْرِ مِنْهُ. Most of the punishment in the grave is because of people don't clean themselves. Imagine to this extent. In Islam, we give so much importance to cleanliness in Islam. So, أحدهم, one of them, he didn't used to clean himself after he urines. وَأَمَّا الْآخَرْ فَكَانَ يَمْشِي بِالنَّمِيمَةِ. And the second person, he used actually to commit this sin that is called namima, to convey the messages between people, to cause some troubles between them. So those two people are being tortured, and he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَمَا يُعَذَّبَنْ فِي كَبِيرٍ. They don't think it's a big deal. When they do this in the washroom, or when they do this between people, they don't think it's a big deal. They think it's okay. No, it is not okay. It is not okay in the sight of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In another hadith reported by Imam Ahmad, أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال ألا أخبركم بخياركم. Should I tell you about the best people among you in Allah's sight? قالوا بلى يا رسول الله, please tell us. قال الذين إذا رؤوا ذكر الله عز وجل. The best kind of people is the one when you see him, you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He reminds you of the masjid, he reminds you of the halaqat, he reminds you of قال الله قال الرسول. This is the best kind of people. طيب, on the other hand, he said, ألا أخبركم بشر الناس عند الله أو بشراركم. The worst among you in Allah's sight. Should I tell you about the worst among you in Allah's sight? They said, بلى يا رسول الله, tell us. He said, المشاؤون بالنميمة. Those who commit this sin, النميمة, to convey the messages between people. والمفسدون بين الأحبة. Those who cause troubles between the lovers. Two people love each other in Allah's sake. Don't try to make troubles between them. Number 3, الباغون للبراء العنت. When you see somebody healthy and you're not as healthy, just subhanallah, why is he healthier than me? Or he is wealthy, Allah has given him more money, so you don't like this. Why? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make him poor and give me more money. الباغون البراء العنت. The envy people. This is the worst amongst us in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah protect us from these diseases in our hearts. Allahumma ameen. Number 5, manna'il lil khayr. The 5th bad attribute in manna'il lil khayr, which is the preventer of good. Manna'il lil khayr. He has money, but he doesn't help others. He doesn't like to help others. Manna'il lil khayr. He has knowledge, he doesn't like to teach others. He just like to be the most knowledgeable one, the most wealthy one among his community. So it is very dangerous. مَنَّاعٍ لِلْخَيْرِ. قال الحسن يقول لهم من دخل منكم في دين محمد لا أنفعه بشيء أبدا. As I told you today in khutbah, Al-Walid al-Mughira used to tell his people, if you revert to Muhammad or if you convert to Islam, I will never help you or support you financially. مَنَّاعٍ لِلْخَيْرِ. He holds back, he doesn't help others. As I told you, the economical weapon that some of the enemies of Islam use against the Muslimin is the economical weapon. That they don't help them financially. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, what? لا تنفقوا على من عند رسول الله حتى ينفضوا. We will hold back, we will never support them financially until they leave Muhammad and go away. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So, manna'in lil khayr, preventer of good. And that's why Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, who used all the time to seek Allah's refuge from poverty. Al-faqr. Faqr is a big problem, ya jama'ah. Al-faqr يدمر الأمم يعني بصراحة. The poverty can destroy nations. And that's what you can see around the world. May Allah protect us. Allahumma ameen. Number 6, mu'tadin, transgressor. And transgressor is not only the one who transgresses his limits against people and deals with them unjustly. Also somebody who transgresses limits in eating and in drinking and in spending his own money in halal ways. قال الله عز وجل كلوا وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرف. Don't transgress the limits when you eat. Don't transgress the limits when you drink. Even if you do this, even in halal stuff, don't transgress the limits. So transgressor, even in halal, or transgressor by being unjust towards others, is called the mu'tadin. Number 7, athim, sinful. Sinful, he always does, bad deeds. You know, the word athim is sighat mubalgha. It's an exaggeration form from him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You know, the word athim is different from the word athim. It's totally different. The word athim, somebody who makes a mistake every once in a while and he repents to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah will accept him, like everybody among us. We are sinners. Everybody makes mistakes. But athim is one of the exaggeration forms in Arabic languages. Fa'al, mif'al, fi'al, fa'ul, fa'il. Fa'il. Fa'il is one of them. I mentioned 6 now. Fa'il is one of these ways to exaggerate when you explain somebody. Athim. He frequently sins. He frequently doesn't repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He doesn't care. So athim, one of the bad attributes, so be careful inshallah. Number 8 is utul. What is utul? Utul means cruel. That person who has very difficult personality. You can't deal with him. You can't handle him. Like if there is some problems between him and some people, you can't reconcile. He's just utul. Utul, cruel. عصي يعني. وأيضا العتل هو الغليظ الذي لا ينقاد للحق الجموع المنوع. It's difficult for you to convince him of the truth. It's عتل. It's difficult to be convinced. عتل. جموع منوع, who always collects money and he doesn't give others. جموع منوع, it's called عتل. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ألا أخبركم بأهل الجنة. Should I not tell you about the people of the paradise? They said, بلى يا رسول الله, tell us. He said, كل ضعيف متضعف. Everyone who is weak in himself, like when you look at him, you feel he's physically weak. And متضعف, people don't actually give him much respect. Like when you see him, he doesn't have an educational degree, he doesn't have a good job, he's not very wealthy, you don't think he's an important person in your community. People look at him like this, like he's a weak person. Like those kind of people are the most beloved to Allah. قال النبي لو أقسم على الله لأبره. If they ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they swear to Allah to do something to them, to fulfill some of their needs, He will do it for them. And people actually don't care for Him. People don't care for Him. It doesn't mean anything to them. But to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He means a lot. It doesn't mean that you should be weak and people shouldn't respect you to be among the people of paradise. It means some of the people of the paradise will be like this. Will be weak and people will not be giving them so much respect, but they are very precious to Rabbil Alameen. Then he said, ألا أخبركم بأهل النار? Should I not now tell you about the people of the hellfire, Jahannam? May Allah protect us from Jahannam, Ya Rab. قالوا بلى قال كل عتل جواظ. Every عتل, this cruel person who's so hard to convince of the truth. جواظ. الجواظ الأكول الشروب المختال في مشيته. Actually, he is not humble. Jawav means it's somebody who is arrogant. So somebody who is cruel, arrogant, and mustakbir. It has the same meaning or close to it. Utul, Jawav, mustakbir. Without going into so much in details, so somebody might misunderstand it. So just Utul, Jawav, mustakbir, somebody is cruel and arrogant. Those are the people of the hellfire. And the last one, the ninth bad attribute, az-zanim. If you look through the books of tafsir, you will find the word zanim actually is very difficult to understand. One of the best scholars to explain it is Imam Sa'di rahimahullah. He said, هو أقبح الناس خلقا الذي لا يرجى منه الفلاح. بسهولة كده. بقية التفسيرات صعبة جدا. The word zanim قال الإمام السعدي the one who has the worst manners. The people who have the worst manners. وَلَا يُرْجَى مِنْهُ الْفَلَاحِ. He doesn't want to change. You can't change him. This is called zanim. So these are 9 attributes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates. So we try inshallah to keep away from them. وَجِزَاكُمُ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا وأقول قولي هذا وإني داع فآمنوا. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين صل عليه في الآخرين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا مرحوما. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده معصوما. اللهم اهدنا لأحسن الأخلاق لا يهدي لأحسنها إلا أنت. واصرف عنا سيئها لا يصرف عن سيئها إلا أنت. اللهم إنا نسألك من كل خير سألك منه عبدك ونبيك محمد ونعوذ بك من كل ما استعاذ منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. آمين آمين آمين. جزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.